Hey peoples, welcome again back to my second video of 2021. Aren't you proud of me? I already got 2 of these bad boys up. That's like 2 more than last year, okay? Not really, like 1 more than last year, but y'all get the gist. Okay, so like I stated in the end of my last video, this one here will just be talking on my journey with infertility, with taking Clomid and that other drug that I don't remember the name of, but we'll get around to that. But yeah, I also did like my testing on that good stuff, but we'll go through that timeline. So yeah, this video will just be on my infertility journey throughout 2020, some at the end of 2019, but not a lot has happened as far as like what I could have tried and all that good stuff so far. So 2021 would be more focused on that, I guess, but let's just talk about 2020 for now. Okay, so a little background, I guess. My husband and I have been together since 2009. Yeah, we met like a month after I graduated high school, but we didn't officially get together till like well the end of that year. We got married in September 2017, so a little over 3 years now. And pretty much like the month after we got married, I stopped my birth control completely. Throughout the time that we've been together, like, you know, before we got married and everything, I was on and off it like periodically, like a couple of years on, couple of years off. I would give my body like a chance to kind of do its own thing for a while. But my period has always been irregular. Like on a normal year, I would get it 3, maybe 4 times at the very most. So it's always been irregular. So I'm also a little, I guess, OCD, I don't know, but I would, like, throughout my college years, I literally took a pregnancy test like every month because I didn't want to be that person I didn't know I was pregnant and there's a baby popping out in the toilet. Just didn't want to be me. I'm very realistic about what we were doing and what's going on. So even though I always had like this inkling that I couldn't just get pregnant anyway, like track record has shown. Fast forward to November of 2019, I went to see my OB, and at this appointment, that's when I really let him know, like, hey, this is the time, like, we're really thinking about having a baby, we're trying to get pregnant, blah blah blah. What are those steps? What does that look like? All that good stuff. So that's when we started talking about like my history of not ovulate or not having a period every month. When I normally do have my periods, the possibility that I wasn't ovulating, which all of this, once again, I've already kind of knew myself, kind of did my own research on it. I just kind of went through the motions with him to kind of reconfirm everything. We started some testing at that point. Like I got an ultrasound done to make sure everything kind of looked right at that time. And yeah, we started talking about my options, which was to go ahead and he gave me the choice to go ahead and do my testing to confirm my infertility, even though we both knew what it was, but it just wasn't like on record yet. And there was like a 3-step process to that. The first was for me to do a progesterone check. I think that was the first one. Either way, to do some blood work to make sure, to check to see whether I was actually ovulating. And then it was for Adam to get a sperm test check to make sure his swimmers are swimming and popping, all that good stuff, make sure they looked right, morphology, all that good stuff. The third option was an HSG, which is when they send contrast up through my uterus, fallopian tubes, and out to towards my ovaries, to make sure that that whole path is open, and if a sperm were to try to make it up there, it can actually make it where it needs to go. So that was the third option, or third part of the test. We decided not to do all that at that time because for one, I was like, that's not like money. I'm trying to do that right now. So he gave me the option of just go ahead and starting my rounds of Clomid, which will hopefully make my body ovulate, and I can get pregnant that way. So that's a choice, or the option that we went with, just to go ahead and start Clomid. So he told me about it at that appointment. He sent my prescription. I did my research before I took it, because I was like, you know, that's just what I do before I take anything. I always kind of look it up myself and look at some studies and all that good stuff. So he sent my prescription. I did pick it up, and then I held off until I did my research on it. But also, you can't take it until after your period comes on, which, like I said, I don't get those every month, so I had time anyways. So 2019 December is kind of where things, I guess, started really. So yeah, I picked up my meds and waited till I had to wait till my period comes on, which luckily it did come on in January 2020. I say luckily, but like, are those very lucky? Nah. So my period came on in January. I did my first dose, my first round of Clomid at that time. I was also like tracking my temperature. I had already been starting doing this like in like November time, but started tracking my temperature daily and kind of keeping track on like my cervical mucus, all that good stuff. I was tracking it anyways. So I did my Clomid in January. My first dose was the 14th. And then I had my doctor's appointment following to see if I had ovulated. Of course, it showed I had not ovulated. And when like I said, I was tracking my temperature and everything. And during this time, I never saw like a temperature spike, which is when you ovulate, your temperature kind of goes up a little bit. I never saw that spike, and there's no real like cervical changes as far as like saying that I was fertile or ovulating either. So I wasn't like disappointed. I was kind of expecting it. I wasn't expecting him to say, hey, you ovulate or anything like that. I was at this point, and kind of still at this point, just kind of like going through the motions to kind of get everything on record so I can get to where I need to be, which is to where, well, we'll get to that. I did get a period again the following month-ish, at the end of February. So from February 23rd to March 29th, again, February 23rd to March 29th, I was bleeding that entire time. And it was a lot heavier than my normal periods are, because what my normal period looks like is 3 to 4 days, light bleeding, nothing too crazy. Most of the time I don't even get like cramps or anything. And then maybe like last year, definitely last year, maybe the year before, but definitely last year, I started getting like cramps, like for real cramps, like in the bed. Like I popped a pill. I don't take pills. Like cramps, okay? So yeah, then I of course called my doctor like Monday morning. He immediately told me to come in. So I came back in, and I took 2 birth control pills that Sunday morning. I think I took 2 again Monday morning. So my period had like not stopped. It definitely did not stop, but it had lessened a lot. So I came in, he did another ultrasound at that point, and the ultrasound really didn't show anything. It wasn't showing why I was bleeding that heavy. It didn't show anything new at all. But then he put me on birth control for a month. I had to take a double dose, like a double, I don't know how many milligrams it was, I'll have to look again, but either way I took a double dose every day for 3 weeks. The 4th week I took just a normal dose, like a 1 pill. And then my period was supposed to come on that following week. He said it would be super heavy again, but after that it should kind of like re-regulate my body. All of that happened. I took the pills, my period came on, and it was not as horrible as it was like that February 23rd to March 29th one. That was like death. But it was heavy again and it hurt again, but it was only a couple of days, well, not a couple of days, but like it was like a week, like less than a week. But then it stopped, so thank God there. So I didn't die. So I had that heavy period from after the birth control that he put me on from April 23rd to May 1st. And then it, you know, stopped, and my body, I guess, re-regulated. As far as we know, it re-regulated. And then After that, in May, that's when I had my second dose or second round of Clomid. So there's 3 different dosages that you can take of the Clomid. It's 50, 100, 150 milligrams. So I had the first dose, which is 50 the first time, and I did the second time that I took it, also did a round of 50. Don't remember why I had to do 2 rounds of the 50. I'm not sure why we didn't just go up to the second dose. I don't remember now. But yeah, I just did the same dose that I did the first time. So second round, once again, no spikes, whatever, from ovulation, no temperature spikes, the progesterone check, none of that was shown that it worked. So at least then I had a normal period again a month later. So May was my second Clomid. In June, I had another period from June 4th to June 6th. And then I did my third round of Clomid, which I did go up to the second dosage that time. Again, that time, no spikes for my ovulation, no progesterone spike, no temperature spike, no real cervical changes, nothing. So at this point, I'm really thinking like, okay, for one, I don't like to take pills to begin with. That's just not something I do as a pastime, because I have a headache. I'm the person that's just gonna go try to lay down, or a migraine or something. Migraines, I end up like popping something, but for the most part, I'll try to go like lay down, wait it out, that type of thing. I don't like to take pills, like I just don't. So I was just thinking like, is this even worth keep popping these pills, and if it's not gonna do anything or work, you know? But anyways, so that was June, third trial of Clomid. July, again, I had a normal period from the 8th through the 10th, so at least, you know, my body's kind of working sort of how it's supposed to. But I did not do Clomid again at that point. I just needed a break, I think, so I just took a little break from that one. August 20th through September 16th, I had again a long period. I kind of started nipping this one in the bud before it went as long as the first one, because I was like, I'm not gonna do that again where I feel like I'm gonna pass out at any point. And then September 15th, 16th, 18th, and 20th, I took double doses of birth control that again had already left over to stop it. And then on September 22nd, the 25th, I had another period. And in the middle of that, I went to go see my doctor again. I called him, let him know what's happening, like it's happening again. So I had an appointment on the 24th. I came in to let him know, because I was doing all that extra bleeding again, and to let him know I popped that birth control to stop it. So he wanted me to come in again. I did another ultrasound, and we discussed like those options again, like doing the HSG pretty much. So I had another ultrasound. On this ultrasound, it actually did show some changes. It said that I had a cyst on my left ovary, and then I had a small fibroid, just one, as well. So those were new, which I'm thinking now that's because of the spike in the hormones from the Clomid that I have been taking. That's one of like the side effects of it. So I was looking to see if that was what it was, and it turned out there was other cases of, well, of course, like any fertility treatments with those hormones, it's going to make something happen. So cyst and fibroid, and I can't say I did feel that bad boy pop, and that was weird. Like I was talking to my grandma about it like the weekend before, and she was like, yeah, I've had them before. She's like, you're gonna feel it when it pops, and she said you're gonna feel a pop and then like a feeling of like relief. And I was like, okay, that don't sound too good. But I did feel it pop. Okay, so at this doctor's appointment, we did an ultrasound, and we also talked about doing the HSG, and I went ahead and got my information on how to like schedule that and everything, and he sent over the information to the hospital so I can get that done. But with the HSG, he wanted me to get it done like that following week, but it has to be done within a certain time frame of your period starting. And since I had that long period of like bleeding, and then I took birth control to make it stop, then I bled for a couple more days. It was just like a weird one. So And I was also out of like I was out of the window for either one of those start dates that you wanted to look at. Either when I first started bleeding back in on August 20th, or if you want to start the counting from September 22nd, I was out of the window for both of those dates. They didn't have anything like available anyway. So I had to wait again until my period came on to do my HSG. So I was waiting for that. In October, of course, when I'm waiting for a period to come on so I can do more testing, it doesn't come. I don't get a period in October. No bleeding at all, so that was great. Well, depending how you look at it, you know, whether it's great that I didn't get a period and wasn't in any crazy pain or passing out, or, you know, wasn't great because I was waiting for one to come on because I needed to do an HSG. However you want to look at that, I didn't bleed in October. Okay, so November 2020, I did have a period from the 8th to the 11th, so short one, like a normal short one for me. And then on the 18th, I was finally able to schedule my HSG, went in for that. That was an experience in itself. Yeah, it would be too much to put on this video. Maybe I'll do a short one on that one, but yeah, that was a thing in itself. So yeah, I got my HSG, and also asked for, before I left my appointment, I asked for a CD with all my pictures and a little video of them actually doing it. So I do have that, and I might insert it here if I can figure out how to do so. But pretty much that showed that it came out normal, like nothing was abnormal about it. I watched the screen myself, like I was of course watching the little x-ray screen. I watched the dye go in, it's spilled out like it was supposed to. The left side was a little slower than the right side, but other than that, it showed no abnormality. So good thing there, you know, there's no blockages, there's nothing physical showing so far as to why I'm not able to get pregnant. So we're still thinking it's the fact that I'm just not ovulating, I'm just not dropping any eggs when I'm supposed to. So yeah, I guess good things there. Adam did get his sperm check. I'll have to go, I forgot when that was. But Adam did go in and get his sperm checked as well, and he's all good to go too. So 2 to 3 things came out with a positive result, like no abnormalities on my HSG. Adam's good to go on his end, and now we really just need to get this progesterone thing to pop, pretty much show a positive that I'm spiking that, so I am ovulating. So that's really what it confirmed, is that we did the right thing to begin with doing the Clomid to make me ovulate. There wasn't anything else that was kind of blocking it, so good news there. And yeah, that brought us to December, which nope, no period in December. Today is January 10th, and still no period. I did start having some spotting a couple of days ago, but I haven't actually had an actual period this year. So yeah, wait for that to come on again. And I can, back in November when I got my HSG, I had already had the medication, I already had my dose for Clomid, and I honestly completely forgot to take it when my period came on. I think I was so focused on my period coming on so I can do my HSG that I forgot to take the Clomid during that same time. So I still have the meds for that. I was supposed to take it back in November. It's supposed to be my 4th round. Yep, 4th round of Clomid, and I forgot. I just completely forgot to take it until I think the day after or the day of my HSG. I was talking to my best friend, and I was like, yeah, so just, we're not even gonna talk about it. I just forgot to take it. So yeah, I still have that medication. I still have for the next time a period does actually come on, I can do my 4th round of Clomid. And this one is the 2nd highest dose again. He said he didn't want to bump me up to the 3rd dose because he didn't want to put me up all of those hormones just yet. So this is still just the 2nd level, the 2nd dose of Clomid that I could possibly take. So there's a third tier, the highest dose I still haven't tried yet, which if this one doesn't work, we'll go up to that one, and then I'll go to a fertility specialist most likely. So we'll see what 2020 has in store. Let's see what 2021 has in store. 2020 was just a lot of rounds of bleeding, Clomid, ultrasounds, some hormonal days, some very bad periods some days, but I mean, overall it was, well, no, I was gonna say it wasn't horrible. I mean, some horrible days, but no baby yet, no pregnancy. We did check off a couple of things on the fertility list, or infertility list, I'll say. So at least in 2021, I know going forward what I want to try, what's available to me, and what I want my next steps to be. So during my next doctor's appointment, which I don't have on schedule just yet, I know exactly what I'm going to bring up to him and what I want to talk to him about, and as far as what I plan for my next steps to be. So we shall see. If you found any of this interesting, definitely, you know, subscribe, hit that bell. I'm gonna try to actually keep up with this and keep it updated as much as I possibly can. Of course, it won't be like every month or anything, because I might not have anything to say that month about it, because I don't get a period every month. So there's that. But yeah, thank you for watching this far. I really appreciate it. Again, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment down below, hit the bell, all that good stuff if you feel like it. Yeah, one reason I did want to do this video, not only to just kind of update again for 2020, because I didn't do much of any videos in 2020, but also I know I'm not the only one that's kind of going through the same type of journey, especially with the Clomid, HSG, infertility in general. And there are a lot more Black women out there that struggle with infertility than talk about it, and than, you know, we know about. So here's one more face to it, you know. You're not alone. We're not alone. We'll get through this one way or another, you know. Thanks for watching.